we surveyed 3,256 people who said that they got better from 28 different conditions when they switched to non-GMO and largely organic diets. And this was no surprise because I had already asked people at 150 lectures the same question and heard the same results, including about 24 medical conferences where the doctors were speaking not on their own behalf, but on behalf of thousands of patients. So we are aware that the GMOs and the Roundup sprayed on the GMOs are seriously dangerous to health. And when you put yourself into organics to avoid both, people get better from long-time chronic problems. Monsanto is highly reliant on Roundup herbicide. It's the world's best-selling herbicide, and most of their genetically modified seeds are Roundup ready, engineered to be sprayed with Roundup herbicide. But Roundup is failing in the fields. The weeds have outsmarted Roundup, and so they're becoming resistant. And so the fortunes of Monsanto are basically teetering. So they tried to buy Syngenta, who said no, but they were in turn bought by Bayer Crop Science. So they're waiting for that purchase to go through. And so they'll become a mega company between Bayer, which is Bayer aspirin, but they also have GMOs and pesticides. So it's kind of like Bayer threw them a lifeline so that they would survive, but they're also kind of desperate right now in the United States because the tipping point of consumer rejection has started. Food companies realize that using GMOs is costing them money because consumers are saying no, so they're switching to their competitor, and so they're racing to become non-GMO. Not all companies, but a lot of companies. And so that process is backing Monsanto into a corner, and so they have pulled out all the stops and gotten amazing media, cover of Newsweek, Businessweek, National Geographic, etc., to try and tell people the untruth that GMOs are really safe and everything you thought you knew about them was wrong. In January of 1999 in San Francisco at a biotech conference, Monsanto's consultant revealed how they had worked with Monsanto executives earlier. They asked the executives to describe their ideal future. And they described a world in which 100% of all commercial seeds were genetically engineered and patented. And then the consultant worked backwards from that goal to create the strategy and tactics to achieve it. Monsanto went on a vast buying spree and became the biggest seed dealer in the world. They were a chemical company, and they were genetically engineering seeds to take their chemicals. There's only a handful of others. Bayer, which is buying Monsanto, Syngenta, which was just bought by ChemChina, Dow and DuPont, which are merging, BASF, and they're in charge of vast amounts of seed resources. And they're eliminating the biodiversity by eliminating or limiting the number of seeds that they sell and packing the numbers with GMOs. So this raises prices, it limits choice, lowers biodiversity, and also creates high risk for food security. People told me that, who are close to the FDA, that there are some excellent scientists there. There's also some really incompetent scientists there. And there's also those that basically do the water carrying for the industry. But the decisions appear to be made not by the scientists of integrity with respect to GMOs, but by those that either don't understand the situation or have some kind of ulterior motive or agenda. I remember speaking to someone at the FDA, and I gave them two important pieces of information on food safety, on research that had been conducted, and she went, huh, new information. It shouldn't have been new information to her. She should have been studying the research. But the official policy of the FDA is that there's no difference, and that no safety studies were needed. In fact, they have a voluntary consultation process. It's also known as a meaningless exercise, where at the end of the day, the FDA writes a letter. And it doesn't say, we believe your foods are safe. It says, you believe your foods are safe, and we don't have to. It basically reminds them that it's the company's responsibility to make that determination. And that's their extent of it.